Hey everyone, welcome back to Motor Authority, your trusted source for everything about advanced defense systems and military tech. Today, we're diving into something that's been buzzing in strategic defense circles across Southeast Asia: the possible development of a short-range missile defense system for the Philippines, dubbed by some analysts as the Philippines Iron Dome. It's not officially named that, but the comparison is inevitable, and possibly a glimpse into the country's defensive future. Let's take a closer look at what this system could look like by 2026, what inspired its conception, and why it might be one of the most critical defense upgrades the Philippines has ever undertaken. Now, let's rewind for a second. The original Iron Dome, developed by Israel, has made headlines globally for its effectiveness in intercepting short-range rockets and artillery shells. It's a highly mobile, all-weather system capable of detecting, tracking, and destroying incoming threats before they can cause damage. The success rate? Over 90%, according to some reports. It's not perfect, but it saves lives, infrastructure, and buys time for countermeasures. It's no surprise that countries in volatile regions are beginning to study and even replicate this model. Fast forward to the present, the Philippines has faced increasing tensions in the West Philippine Sea, with maritime disputes, regional military drills, and even the occasional missile test by neighboring powers raising concern. Add to that the evolving threat landscape involving not just traditional warfare but also drone attacks, low-flying cruise missiles, and rocket artillery, and you've got a recipe for strategic urgency. So, could the Philippines actually develop or acquire a comparable system by 2026? Let's break it down. First, there's the question of capability. The armed forces of the Philippines has been undergoing modernization since 2012 under the revised AFP modernization program. A few years back, they focused on air mobility, naval patrols, and multi-role aircraft. But what comes next? Ground-based air defense is the logical evolution, and some reports already suggest that there are discussions underway, whether locally or with international defense partners, about enhancing this particular area. One key partner that's come up repeatedly? Israel. The Philippines and Israel have had several successful defense agreements, from drone technology to armored vehicles. And considering that Israel's Rafael Advanced Defense Systems is the creator of Iron Dome, the potential for technology transfer, training, or even licensed production could be on the table if the political will and funding are there. But that's not the only path. There's also talk about the Philippines collaborating with South Korea, which has been developing its own missile defense capabilities, or even exploring hybrid systems sourced from multiple allies including the US, Japan, and even India. The goal wouldn't necessarily be to build a carbon copy of Iron Dome, but rather a Filipino version tailored to the archipelagic geography, the likely threat vectors, and the limited defense budget. In this hypothetical Philippines Iron Dome system, we'd be looking at several core components: a detection and tracking radar, a battle management and control unit, and a series of interceptor launchers positioned in key areas such as Palawan, Zambales, or even Metro Manila. These launchers would be mobile, likely truck-mounted, and able to deploy interceptors within seconds after a threat is detected. Now here's something even more exciting. Philippine-based defense contractors are beginning to build experience in electronics integration, logistics systems, and even radar manufacturing. While we're still a few steps away from fully indigenizing a missile system, the future looks promising. With proper investment in training, partnerships, and research, by 2026, we could see at least a prototype or early deployment model being tested in select military zones. Of course, cost is a major consideration. A single Iron Dome battery can cost between $50 million to $100 million, and each interceptor missile around $50,000. For the Philippines, that's a heavy price tag. But national defense is rarely cheap, and when you weigh the potential cost of infrastructure destruction or civilian casualties in the event of an actual attack, the investment starts to make more sense. There's also a question of how this system would be integrated with existing defense architecture. Would it connect to the current Philippine Air Defense Identification Zone? Would it use satellites for tracking? Could it even operate autonomously in the event of communications disruption? These are the types of design questions military planners and engineers are asking, and they're the same questions the Israeli engineers had to answer back when they started working on Iron Dome more than a decade ago. Now, beyond just hardware and software, there's also the human component. For a defense system like this to work, you need trained operators, analysts, and technicians. That means education and training programs, possibly joint exercises with allies, and even local simulation centers to prepare for real-world use. One of the less talked about aspects of Iron Dome is how effective its crews are at handling high-stress, split-second decision-making environments. The Philippines will need to build that human capability alongside the tech. So, will we see missiles flying in the sky by 2026, say not to destroy, but to defend? Honestly, if momentum continues, yes. We might not have a full-fledged Iron Dome deployed across the country by then, but a short-range missile defense system tailored for the Philippines could certainly be in the testing or early deployment phase. And more than just a weapon system, it represents something else: our message to the region and to the Filipino people that national defense is evolving. That the country is no longer just playing catch-up, but actually investing in modern, strategic deterrence. It also speaks to a new kind of warfare readiness, one that includes cyber defense, drone integration, and rapid response mechanisms. Here at Motor Authority, we'll be keeping a close watch on this developing story. Whether it's radar systems being quietly tested in Subic or interceptor trucks being spotted in Camp Aguinaldo, you'll hear it here first. And as always, we'll break it down in a way that's clear, balanced, and based on real facts. If you like this breakdown and want more deep dives into future defense projects, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what part of this possible Iron Dome system excites you most. Is it the radar? The interceptors? Or the idea of having real deterrent power against evolving threats? Thanks for watching Motor Authority, where tech, defense, and strategy meet. Stay alert, stay informed, and see you in the next one.